What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you for watching. Today's video is gonna be a little bit different than what we normally do. Usually we shoot up close, fast-paced, mag dumps, destroy targets. We're still gonna destroy targets, don't worry. But today we have a precision rifle for a change. So this is the Bergara 6.5 Creedmoor and an Ultradyne chassis. So the action, the barrel, basically the rifle is from Bergara, which is a highly respected name in the firearms world, especially when it comes to precision. But that cool green chassis that it's sitting in is from Ultradyne, and that's the main thing that we're gonna be looking at today. I'll go into more detail a little bit later. But before we get started, I do want to thank Ultradyne for sending this out because they are the reason today's video is possible. Now, like I said, this rifle is chambered in the 6.5 Creedmoor. That is a very cool looking cartridge. I believe this is only our second video ever testing the 6.5. I recently just tried it for the very first time and I instantly fell in love with the thing. But in that video, we did mainly shoot it up close, tested the power, destroyed targets, you know, what we usually do on this channel. So today we're gonna take it a little further out and actually try to test the precision of this thing, at least to the extent that we can on this shooting range. So the 6.5 has already become one of my all-time favorite calibers, and I'm excited to see what this rifle can do. Let's get started. All right, we're gonna spend most of this video at 100 yards and out. So before we do that, let's give it the up-close test and satisfy our childish urge to destroy shit at close range. Then we'll shoot groups and do all that boring stuff. Bergara 6.5 with the Ultradyne chassis. Let's see how it works. We'll go ahead and shoot the steel first just to see how it feels. That muzzle brake. It has no recoil, so it definitely does its job. But man, do you feel it? Muzzle brakes are, you know, some people love them, some people hate them. Again, the recoil impulse is incredible, so it's very effective. I'm curious to see what the gases look like coming out of that thing. Put one more on the steel. Dude. You could hear this thing coming from a mile away. Last round. Woo! This thing absolutely rules. It's so interesting shooting a 6.5 Creedmoor that has like zero recoil. I mean, it's not a hard recoiling cartridge anyway, but you definitely feel it. With this muzzle brake, you literally do not feel it. You just kind of feel the slap across the face that you get from the muzzle blast. But that is a very cool experience. And one more thing I want to say, the weight and balance is surprisingly good on this thing. It's obviously more of a long-range precision rig. It even has like a flat handguard underneath the barrel, I assume for bench resting and just being super precise at long range. But even just standing and shooting it off the shoulder, it feels surprisingly good. It's lightweight, but not too lightweight, if that makes sense. And just really well balanced. So it feels rock solid when you shoot it, which is a good thing. All right, guys, I am warming up in the truck for a minute. And before we go any further, I want to tell you all about Renewal Rain. So Renewal Rain is a delicious mineral water drink that spiritually renews the mind and body by reminding you to focus on your relationship with God. Very few companies these days promote this kind of message, which is why I am so excited to work with Renewal Rain. This channel is obviously centered around the Second Amendment, freedom, and individual liberty. And the message behind Renewal Rain is a drink that's all about embracing the freedom and rejuvenation that's achieved through the Word of God. Life is a journey that's full of obstacles. We train hard, we push our limits, and at the end of the day, we all need to be physically and spiritually renewed. So head over to renewalrain.com renewalrain.com and try it for yourself. That's renewalrain.com. Support a company who puts faith first and rejuvenate yourself in the process. All right, guys, since this is a precision rifle, we're gonna go ahead and shoot a couple groups with it. I have a paper target stapled to our target stand here, and I'm gonna go back as far as I can physically go on this shooting range. I think it's about 130 yards. So I got a few different rounds. We'll shoot some groups and see what kind of accuracy we can actually get out of this thing. All right, this is our setup. I've got my shooting rest on the table, Bergara 6.5 with the Ultradyne chassis, and we are all the way out at 130 yards. You guys probably can't even see the target. It's that white thing right there in the middle of the screen. Again, this is as far as we can go on this range, so it should be a pretty good test. All right, we're gonna do 3-shot groups so it doesn't take us an hour to do this. First up, we have the American Whitetail 129 grain 6.5 Creedmoor. It is a soft point. Literally all I could find was like super expensive premium hollow point hunting rounds for the 6.5, so nothing cheap in this video. Let's see how it does. That one surprised me. All right, last one. Felt a little bit shaky, but overall pretty good. All right, next up we have the 120 grain Barnes Vortex 6.5 Creedmoor. This is definitely the coolest looking round that we have. Blue polymer tip, and if I remember correctly, they are very effective as well. So let's see how accurate they are. These have a little more recoil, but I would say it's actually more pleasant to shoot. It's not as sharp, but it does pack more of a punch. Man, these groups look pretty good. And the third and final round we're gonna test is the 143 grain Hornady Precision Hunter. It is the ELDX. Also a very cool looking round. Red polymer tip on this one. Let's see what they do. Feel very similar to the Barnes Vortex that we just shot. Last round. All right. That group also looks incredibly small. Let's go take a look. All right. Here are our 3 groups. This is crazy. So we have the American Whitetail, the Barnes Vortex, and the Hornady Precision Hunter. This is the first one that I shot. I honestly felt a little bit shaky on those 3 rounds, and they still look like they're at an inch or less. Just for a reference, those little boxes are 1-inch squares. So I don't really need a tape measure. That can kind of show you how big the groups are. I would say the first one is probably right at 1 inch. The second one is 1/2 inch, maybe. And the third one is also about 1/2 inch. It looks like we have 2 bullets in the exact same hole right there. You can see how the paper is ripped a little bit towards the bottom of that second bullet hole. So that's 3 groups with 3 different rounds, and they're all sub MOA. Again, we were at 130 yards, so 1 MOA would be 1.3 inches, and we don't have anything that's bigger than 1 inch. 2 of them are like 1/2 inch groups at 130 yards. So kind of crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is probably the most accurate rifle I've ever tested on the channel, at least that I've shot groups with. So Pretty impressive. All right, guys, I'll go ahead and give you a quick overview on this thing. The rifle and the barrel are from Bergara. They make pretty good stuff. Everyone knows that. But the chassis is what I'm really here to show you guys today, because that's the part that was sent by Ultradyne. So it's a single piece chassis that you can drop a rifle into. They fit Remington 700s, Savage. I believe they also have some others coming soon, Ruger American, Howa, CZ, etc. So quite a few options. They also make different lengths depending on which rifle you want to put in it. Very lightweight, minimalist stock with a butt pad on it. You can see it has a couple spacers in there. They also sent a couple extras as well. So you can really, finely tune this thing to fit you exactly how you want. They also sent this little bag rest that you can put on the bottom of the stock. So if you're bench resting it using like bean bags, you can have a nice flat surface to rest the stock. It's got a cheek rest up here. Fits me perfectly. I really didn't have to adjust anything at all on the butt stock. Moving forward, we have the grip, the trigger guard, the magazine release, all pretty self-explanatory, and then the forend that I told you guys about earlier. It has M-LOK slots all the way around it, so you can attach whatever you would like. I believe the different versions of this have 3, 5, and 7 M-LOK slots. So those are the different lengths that they offer. It also has an integrated ARCA mount in the forend, so you can attach it to tripods and stuff like that. And again, it is flat on the bottom, so it would probably work really well on a tripod mount. And then moving forward, probably my favorite part of this entire thing, the muzzle brake. I think it's called the Apollo Max muzzle brake for the 6.5 Creedmoor. Apparently it's one of their best sellers, and I can see why. This rifle literally does not move unless I'm like barely hanging on to it. Obviously it does come with some additional noise and muzzle blast like all brakes, but if you want to reduce recoil and muzzle rise, you've got to divert those gases somewhere, and this one does it about as effectively as any brake I've tried. So that's about it. I want to thank Ultradyne for sending this out and letting us try it. We do have a discount code UD10 at ultradyneusa.com. We'll save you 10% off your order. So go check them out. And again, I appreciate them for letting us try it. I'm definitely a fan. Okay, this is something I don't think I've ever done before. So we have 4 targets on the table that progressively get smaller as they go. We have a baby watermelon, a honeydew melon, a coconut, and a 12-ounce soda. We're gonna go back to our sniper's nest at about 130 yards and see if we can take these guys out in order from biggest to smallest without missing anything. And hopefully you guys can see the impacts on camera, because it is pretty far away. All right, I got the camera zoomed in all the way, so hopefully you guys can see the impacts. It should compress the distance a little bit. This is probably the best accuracy test we could do at this range. I've got a coconut, a 12-ounce soda. They're like 2 to 3 inches wide at 130 yards. So if we hit them, they should pop like a grape. I've only got 4 rounds in the magazine. Hopefully we do not have to reload. Let's see if we can hit them. Watermelon first. It went straight through the watermelon and got a headshot on the steel target. It did not explode the watermelon like I thought it would. Honeydew melon. Dead center hit. Coconut. I've hit every target so far. I did kind of graze the coconut on the right side, but none of these targets are reacting like I thought they would. So I'm switching ammo. I'm gonna try a couple of these 143 grain Hornadies and see if we get a better reaction. I'm gonna hit that coconut again. Got it. And the 12-ounce soda. Definitely the smallest of the targets. Now that one got vaporized. Let's go check them out. Okay, we were 5 for 5, no misses. It's a good thing I had this camera set up right there, because otherwise you probably couldn't tell from back there. I used like a cheap Full Metal Jacket target load. Cheap is relative with the 6.5 Creedmoor because none of them are actually cheap. But I didn't see the reactions I was expecting. I thought the watermelon, honeydew melon, coconut, I thought they would kind of react a little bit more. But as we saw, they really didn't. So here are the results. I don't know where the entrance hole is at on this watermelon, unless that is the entrance hole and it just kind of took out one side of it. But either way, we obviously did hit it. That is our honeydew melon. Now that's exactly where I was aiming with that one. So that's a dead center hit on the honeydew melon, and really just a tiny little exit hole coming out the back. On the coconut, I hit it top right corner on the first shot, and then the second shot, I hit it more towards the middle and the bottom. And then here is our 12-ounce soda. And that also looks like it was pretty much a dead center hit. So we weren't that far away, honestly, for the bullet to slow down a whole lot. So it might have just been a bad ammo selection. I think if we shot that same round at 20 or 30 yards, we'd probably see a similar result. Sometimes rifles just punch right through stuff and don't really dump their energy into the target. So that's probably what we saw here. All right, guys, there it is. I hope y'all enjoyed the video on the Ultradyne 6.5 Creedmoor. Again, I want to thank Ultradyne for sending this out. I really appreciate them. If you want to learn more, check them out at ultradyneusa.com. As always, let me know what you think down in the comments below. I would be happy to hear from you. And if you did like the video, please hit the like button for me, guys. I would really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.